Hello everyone, in today's session let us discuss a theory related to mass communication, that is selective process. The selective process theory is proposed by Professor Melvin D. Fleur and Sandra Balrokish in their book titled Theories of Mass Communication. This theory is also known as individual differences theory because the idea proposes that each individual has unique quality that result in their differed reaction to media messages. An individual's needs, attitudes, values, prior beliefs and other cognitive and emotional states play an important part in screening the media messages, selecting the media, exposure to any media outlet and their interpretation and then their reaction to it. So hence this theory is called as individual differences theory because each individuals are different. So they are very selective in what they read, listen or to view from the media. So their pattern of understanding and interpretation are different from each other. This theory again disapproves the dominant paradigm of mass communication, that is, there is direct influence of mass media on the people and audiences are very passive and they receive messages from the mass media unquestioningly. So instead this theory proposes that audience are very active, they are different and they receive media messages differently and they understand media messages differently and they interpret the media messages differently. So why that is so? The researchers propose that this is caused by the audience's selective exposure, selective perception and selective retention of media content. This selective exposure, selective perception and selective retention act as a barrier between messages and effect. So thereby limiting the scope of direct impact of mass communication on people. So now let us see first idea, that is selective exposure. So people expose themselves to various messages which are in accordance with their existing attitudes. And audiences are always avoid the ideas, the news, the issues or content which cause dissonance to them. So as human beings, we always tend to avoid what is uncomfortable to us. It may be things, it may be issues, it may be ideas, it may be beliefs, etc. So this act of avoiding a mental conflict is what is referred as cognitive dissonance. So people always avoid the issues or news or content which creates dissonance to them. So but one idea here is that more we use such means, more we use such media, more people responsible for content creation reinforce this through media content. For example, if I consume only those content which are in accordance to my ideas and beliefs, so I am exposed to only those contents and I would like to remember today's so media analytics. So they push only those ideas or issues or contents or messages which I largely see or largely consume. So which is responsible for, according to the critics, a psychological isolation. It means that, so if I am exposed to similar contents, similar ideas, similar ideology, then there will be psychological isolation. I may be deprived of different ideas or different interpretation, varied interpretation. Sometimes I may be deprived of actual truth also. So it may lead to psychological isolation also. But however, people tend to expose themselves to those media which minimize dissonance. Now discussing another concept, that is selective perception. According to this idea, people read only those messages which are in accordance with their pre-existing attitudes, beliefs and value system or emotional state of mind. So they ignore those messages or part of those messages which is against their ideas, which is against their beliefs and which is against their value system. For example, so if I have a favorite leader or politician, so I love to hear speech and I agree with all his ideas, And if I am forced to, or if I am supposed to listen a opponent political leader's idea, then I reject all his ideas proposed by opponent politician. So because his speech may create dissonance in my mind, so that is why I intelligently avoid his speech. Going to next idea, that is selective retention. So according to this idea, we tend to remember those things that are familiar to us. So for example, a speech by a politician or speech by a advertisement or endorsement by an actor. So I listen to a politician's speech who is very favorite to me, and I always retain his ideas or remember his idea because he is very familiar to me. His ideas are very familiar to my ideas. Or I look into an actor who endorse any product, so I love to that buy product because he is my favorite actor. I love his ideas, I love his characteristics. So that is why endorsement by an actor will be passively received by me, very admiringly received by me. So it may be like remembering the positive messages or negative ideas also endorsed by politician or an actor or any leader. So thus the factor influencing the selective retention include the importance of message, or sometimes for later utility, or the intensity of the message in which it is delivered, or the means by which it was transferred. If the message was transferred with a tool which reaches only one sense, sometimes it may be ignored, or if that message is delivered through a media which senses reaches more than one sense, then it can be easily remembered or it can be easily retained in my mind. So in conclusion, the selective process in mass communication disapproved the direct influence of mass media. As I told you earlier, audience are very selective in consuming the content and their reaction to it. So it says that audience are active. They receive only those messages, they are exposed to only those media houses, or they retain only those messages which are in according to their beliefs, ideas and value system. So for better understanding of this theory, selective process, so I suggest you to read cognitive dissonance theory, because cognitive dissonance theory is known as foundation for selective process theory. So with this, I conclude today's session. Let us meet again with another topic. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video.